Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ankita Kohli. I'm from LaunchMy Career. I'm the Global CMO and India Business Officer for LaunchMy Career. LaunchMy Career is a youth-centric, focused career success platform. And today we are here as an exclusive career success partner with Dirac. Today I'd like to talk to you about the topic of employability and skills. And specifically within that, about the widening skills gap that we are facing globally. Let me start with a quote by the very famous Nandan Nilekani. He's the co-founder of Infosys, needless to say that. But he said something very wise. He said that in India today, we have 400 million people below the age of 25 who will be doing jobs that you and I have not even heard about. Let's look at it another way. What this means is that 65% of the jobs that we know in today's date won't even exist by the time primary school students actually leave school. Fascinating, isn't it? Well, technology, automation, and technology disruption is changing the way skills need to be developed for the future world of work. Technology and education must work hand in hand. There is an extreme and dire need for a technology-aided solution for today's youth to help them understand what sort of career-oriented skill development must they undergo. What is the skills gap? Well, let me share a few facts with you. In 2019, the UK government estimated that taxpayers will be paying almost $90 billion by 2024 due to productivity losses on account of skills gap. In the very same year, US had 7 million unfulfilled jobs on account of skills gap. Many studies have estimated that by 2030, 20% of the workforce will be significantly under-skilled. Not only that, if you look at the 14 top G20 countries, they will lose about $11.5 trillion worth of GDP growth on account of skills gap by the year 2030. And there's more. 8.5 million will come from US alone. Why don't we look at some stats closer to home? What about India? Well, in India, demand for digital talent outstrips supply by 8 times. And mind you, that's today. By 2024, it's going to outstrip by 20 times. That's the harsh reality of the skills and demand gap that we are facing today. What about the hiring managers? Well, there's some data there as well. 56% of hiring managers anticipate that technological interventions like AI and other forms of workplace automation will cause a major shift in the kinds of skill they will need employees to possess. Yes, global skills gap is a critical issue, and companies are struggling to find the right talent to fill unfulfilled vacancies. It's not a question of finding where the jobs are, but it's actually a question of correcting the root supply of skills, making sure that there is less gap between skills and demand. Now, you'd say, hey, but why does it matter? Well, there is tangible loss of output, as I had just mentioned in terms of forecasts about how much GDP loss there can be due to productivity losses. Not only that, if you look at a work environment, you will lead skills gap will actually lead to low morale amongst employees. You will have high turnover or churn amongst employees. You will not only be able to not fill positions, but not be able to hone managers who will be able to train future employees. And once you start summing this up across industry, it's a real problem. But why are positions harder to fill? Well, the number one reason for this is that most of the candidates actually lack real life experiences or have extremely low skill sets in terms of what is actually anticipated by employers. A significant contributing factor to this issue is also because we have one-size-fits-all education frameworks, which is not aligned to career guidance or career-led learning. Employability, by the way, is a function of knowledge base and career-oriented skills development. While formal education starts as early as 13 years of age, but career-oriented skill development only starts very close to a learner's recruitment cycle. But it's too late by then. Today's education systems don't address the need for individual skill development required for future jobs. While governments have actually mandated world over the requirement for career guidance as a part of core school curriculum, institutions and schools have been very slow in adopting this policy change. Career guidance in early years is a stepping stone for development of career-oriented skills. And given the time lag that goes into developing these skills, it has to start early, so that we prepare the young learners of today for the changing world of work. Having said that, no one says it's an easy task. Let's talk about the Indian school ecosystem. The sheer size of the requirement of specialists who can give career guidance is very large. India needs 15 lakh counselors for 315 million students. Yes, that's an enormous number. And lack of career counseling system in Indian school affects 93% of the schools who do not have such specialists. There is also lack of career opportunity awareness. Most learners in the age gap of 14 to 21 are only aware of 7 jobs on an average. And this is not just learners, but even their families. And this is a very famous study done by the Times Group. They're only aware of 7 career options on an average, whereas we know there are thousands in the global arena. So then we beg the question, how do we close this gap? Well, the answer lies in a tacit participation and engagement between the school and enterprise ecosystems. The first stepping stone is career education in school. We've experienced, as you can see today, a paradigm shift in learning solutions. Schools have adopted new and innovative forms of learning for their learners, such as new age learning avenues like STEM, F1, robotics, and even more. What is missing is a proper guidance that aligns learners with careers in order to prepare them for the future world of work. Career education is actually, or needs to be, a seamless extension of the curriculum itself, enabling young people to develop the right kind of skills. See, career education is a multi-year journey, a multi-step journey. It requires various kind of interactions, activities, and engagements. But if I were to just talk about a very structured approach toward this, which can start early in the schools, I would say the first step would be about career discovery and self-exploration. At this stage, a learner actually has to be able to identify with the help of scientific processes as to what is he or she most inclined towards in terms of their personality, interests, aptitude, so that they go in the right direction in terms of career options and choices. Tools that profile learners' personality, interests, work style, orientation are a must and are a stepping stone for career alignment. Once we've been through that assessment or profiling, then it's important that the learner gets a handheld career guidance experience through career specialists. That would require a one-on-one counseling session, personalized career success plans, putting information into perspective, because what is my journey is very different from someone else's journey. So these journeys or these career success plans have to be personalized. And also rationalizing individual career choices, because nothing is set in stone. I may have an inclination to a certain set of careers, but what is the best path will require rationalization of options available to me. And obviously a consistent framework for motivation and sustenance to achieve these goals as well. What's next? Well, after career guidance, we have to build a very clear path to career-linked education. Now, what are the skills I need to develop for the kind of careers that I'm inclined towards? Schools have to be involved in that as well, to help students to develop the skills that are needed to evaluate potential career paths. For example, having a coherent framework for career exploration, building profile of skill sets for a particular career, and skill-based learning. After all of this, the last step is about career readiness. Now, how can we bring that about? Well, for this step, there is a dire need for school and industry to come together, because this is a handshake between the two, and these partnerships can provide benefits to students such as awareness of emerging jobs, skills required for future workspace, transitions from school to work, leadership development, industry insights, and technological advancements. What will all this do? Well, it will lead to teaching and learning innovations, And most importantly, it will lead to growth in a STEM workforce, which is required in alignment with the kind of technological changes we are seeing today. Some formats of these partnerships already exist, but some are futuristic, and I'd like to name a few right now. We obviously always have a partnership for career experiences, but we can now take it to the next frontier through the form of career metaverses, where we have a perfect marriage between human interaction and virtual reality. Job shadowing, mock interviews, employer connections, and also entrepreneurship programs, but all within the framework of a career success program for schools. So all of this can start very early. Remember that in today's date, unavailability of the right talent is forcing enterprises to actually invest their own monies in retraining their employees. I'd like to give you one example. Companies like AT&T have spent more than $200 million in retraining their employees. Wouldn't it be great to actually solve this problem at root, which is through an industry and school partnership, and which is through a career guidance and counseling framework as early as 13 years of age in schools? And that's what I have to say. Thank you.